Transformers! Robots in disguise! Transformers! More than meets the eye! Transformers! Stand and unite! Steel will clash, the battle roars, but this war is more than what it was before. It's for tomorrow, for every spark, for Cybertron and the light in the dark. Transformers! Robots in disguise! Transformers! More than meets the eye! Transformers! From dark to light! Transformers!
And now, through the magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future, Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's going to be the last Saturday night, at least for now, because we have conventions coming up. How we all doing? My name is Proto Man. This is the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday night live stream main event. I'm the face that runs this place. I'm the voice you would have heard Monday to Friday. We had a lot of technical difficulties this week. A little bit of a micro ice storm happened. We lost the internet for 3.5 days. Oh my goodness. I was humbly reminded of what happens when you lose your internet and you can't use your TV. All your Switch games don't log on to the online. Wow. And of course, the podcast wasn't able to function properly. Yeah. So how we doing? So we're going to cover a lot of stuff. We got a bunch of news to cover today. We have some good discussions we're going to be talking about because of stuff going on in the news. We have a reveal today. We have a convention exclusive reveal that my patrons will be able to cash in on if they like, if they will be present at TFCon LA. Just a lot going on. Just a lot going on. Tucker, let me tell you something. That's exactly what I had to do was the physical media thing. I literally busted out a couple of my Switch games that were actually on cartridges, and I was playing Sonic Racing, I was playing Mario Odyssey, I was playing the Mega Man Legacy collections. What else was I playing? River City Girls 2, bunch of stuff, because I was just like, my goodness, like all the games that I'm currently playing involve online. It was nuts, and it took like 4 days before Bell would get around to coming and figure it out. And then in the end, they didn't even know what the problem was in the end, but they fixed it. So it is what it is outside of like some messing with the wires and everything. But let's get into it. First, who do we got in the chat? Let's take a look. So we got T-Formers 2002. How you doing? I'll be seeing you in less than a week. Decepticon for life. How you doing, brother? Good old Damon. You got Tucker, as we just mentioned. James, how you doing? Fawnheart. Good to see you again. Big Easy. Good to see you. Rudy Mac. I'll be seeing you in a couple months. Not too far. Autovo GTS, one of my patrons. We got Patrick Brown. We got Kevin. How you doing? YLagY. Princeton Phalanx, one of my patrons. Fair Lady Z, one of my patrons, who I believe, Fair Lady Z, I'll be seeing you also next week. I believe you said you were going to be at TFCon LA. Horned Owl, what's up, my man? You got Cringe McCringle. Check out Cringe just put out a brand new toy review of Hot Rod, the Target exclusive one. Go check that out on his channel. Will Murphy. Who else? I hope I didn't miss nobody. Ashnud. There's Ashnud. I was like, where's Ashnud at? We got Minis. How you doing? Mateus, what's up? One of my patrons. You got I think I got Big Easy. Big Bot Bodega, what's up? I think I'll be seeing you next. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna be at TFCon LA next week. Because I know LA is kind of the weird one. It's the biggest show of the year in terms of Transformer conventions. Like, there's no Transformer convention, in my opinion, in the modern age that's bigger than TFCon's LA show. But it's also one of the more expensive ones to go to, one of the more difficult ones to go to for a lot of people. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know who's really going. So I will be there, but we'll get into that later. So let's cover the news. We'll cover the news. We'll cover all of this other stuff too, and show some reveals and all kinds of stuff and everything like that, and just talk about it like we always do. So then, let's start with some updates to the Blockies Wheels news that we talked about. Now, I opened up Wave 1 of the Blockies Transformer Wheels just last week on a during the week live stream, secret live stream. It's up, and they're very fun. They're cool die cast, and what I'm really seeing from this Wave 2, now that we have these updated photos, is they're going to be a lot more modulable and like have a lot more motion to them. Where like these basic ones that we got from Wave 1, they're pretty, they're fun, but they don't really have much going to them. Like, I mean, you could argue like, oh, maybe the turret here on Swindle is movable, but it's more so just because of the way the peg is. But there's not really stuff that you could do with them outside of just being nice rolly cars. But they're really showing that with Wave 2 here, both parts of Overlord could combine together and do some cool stuff. And like Scoop could actually his payload could lift up, and the little exhausts on both Pipes and Huffer could move and have articulation. They have opening cockpits. Well, some of them have opening cockpits on season 1, on the series 1 stuff too. I even dig how Pipes has his spoiler flattening mode. We'll call it that if you didn't read the comics. But so very cool. Very, very cool. I'm excited about this wave. There's a lot of cool stuff in here that kind of intrigues me. I like that there's Roadbuster there. Scoop is, one of those obscure characters that seems to be getting a lot of love. I know Symbiote Studios is hyped about the Huffer one being part of it. So very nice. Very, very nice. I dig them. And again, they're die cast. They're simple to build. They're not expensive. The only negative is like, oh my God, there's chases, and I still got to track down the rest of the Roddy chases because I got the Lost Light colors, but I didn't get the vanilla colors, and I didn't get the metallic yet. So I'll have to track those down in the near future. Maybe at a upcoming TFCon, someone might have them for sale. We will see. We will see. But yeah, check that out. Usually when we see images like this means that these are not too far behind. I was seeing on some of the pre-order websites, they're saying like March 11th and the 12th. So that's really soon. So chances are we'll probably be seeing these very soon for pre-order, and then we'll be in your hands to crack open and enjoy very, very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if by TFCon next week, some of these might even be with some of the dealers. Who knows? Who knows? But check that out, yo. And again, a case cost, I mean, on average, I've seen $27 to $32 for a case of these, of 12. So of the random blind boxes. So we'll see what pops off with those ones right there. Then, of course, we have this bad boy that we just talked about not too long ago. Now we have all the images, all the information. And I think the best thing about it all is the price. The Dramatic Capture Series Jetfire Gatai, as this set is called, Jetfire Combined, Jetofire Gatai. This set is going to cost 15,500 yen, which is pretty much about $95 as of this recording. Might be a little up and down, it goes up and down, but $95 USD, under $100. And considering that just Studio Series Jetfire is like 115 to 160 bucks on eBay right now. It's kind of stupid. Obviously, the release of this is going to soften that market a little bit, but this is fantastic. It has that high premium paint quality that you only see with Dramatic Capture series or previous before that, the premium series or the Beast Wars Returns series. So these are fantastic. And you get the Optimus, you get the extra guns, you get all the high deco paint. Still no Matrix yet. I'm surprised that Studio Series has gone this far with not having a Michael Bay verse Matrix of Leadership. And the reason why I say Michael Bay verse, because we technically got Bumblebee movie Matrix. So, which is and it isn't part of, is and it isn't part of the, you know. So it's something where, again, and like Tucker, you just said you missed out on Jetfire. So like this is great because you probably already have the Optimus. Heck, maybe sell the Optimus at a bit of a loss, and then you could put that towards this set, and you're good to go. You know what I mean? This thing's 95 bones. That's an incredible amount of savings, and it comes with more than the two original. If you bought Optimus and Jetfire on their current market price individually, you'd be paying like almost like $120. And no, actually, no, $120, maybe even more than that, probably more like $160. And then it would have less paint, it would have less accessories. So we love this. This is great. We love this. This is fantastic. So let me know what you think about it, but great stuff. The pre-orders for this started a couple days ago, and the release date for this is supposed to be August 2026. So you have plenty of time to put in your pre-orders and plan this out and save up and work that shift at the old Burger King and get a paycheck and get this. But yeah, good stuff. Then we got some Titan class stuff, just not so much reveals because last San Diego was when we saw the prototype of this, and then we got to see much more color in-hand stuff. But now we got the first shot of the stock images. Now we know how the box art's going to look. And usually when we see this, that means a pre-order is not very far away for our Titan class Grimlock. And you know that it's not very far away because this image got out. It went all over the place. People saw it, and then right away you have the Hasbro reactionary, which is then Nate from Hasbro's marketing team was talking about the Titans, and Nate and Evan specifically about the next Titan Dinobot and which one will it be? Which one do you think will it be? So he's suggesting it. Oh, maybe Scorn, maybe Strafe, maybe Slug, aka Slag. Who will the next Titan Dinobot be? So that's on his Instagram if you want to kind of like give your opinion, let him know who you think it should be. You know me, I'm going to have a little bit of a bias maybe. Although Scorn is a pretty cool design too, but it's all when he's all in red, he looks cool. So, but you know, gotta always support the the mascot of the podcast too. So yeah, so there's that too. So we'll probably be learning. I get a feeling probably this. I'm just saying. I can't confirm this. Don't take my word for it. I get a feeling probably this Tuesday we might see the pre-order for the Titan class Grimlock, and then maybe not long after that we'll probably get some early teasers of what will be the next one. If not by San Diego, who knows? Don't quote me on that one. I don't know what the timeline is for when it comes to this Titan class Studio Series stuff. So, but yeah, check that out, yo. Then going from the most high end and prestigious, the Dramatic Capture series, incredible paint, Japanese engineering and quality. We got the Titan class, the most expensive, the largest, the parts and the pieces. And then we go from the most epic of all, going from high quality ABS to the low quality MABS. Let's talk about fast food toys that'll be hitting very, very soon. So Burger King, my home away from home, Burger King, where I used to work more than 20 years ago, is going to be getting some Transformer toys again. This is celebrating Hasbro's brands. This is a toy promotion that's all Hasbro brands. It's going to be 2 My Little Pony Friendship is Magic characters, Twilight Sparkle and Pinkie Pie. Correct me if I'm wrong. My Little Pony knowledge is not my best. A Furby and a Nerf gun, and then 2 Transformers, a very, very interestingly proportioned Optimus Prime and Bumblebee in a evergreen design color scheme, to say the least. Now, the fact that these and take this is something I could speak of experience. The fact that these are in hand from a Burger King employee tells me this is less than a month away from being the next promotion. So I'm thinking probably April, you're going to be seeing these. And there's 6 of them here. So probably 2 per case. So you'll have like, because it's divided up between girl toys and boy toys. So you'll probably have like an Optimus with a My Little Pony, a Bumblebee with a Pinkie Pie, and the Nerf gun with the Furby. That's what I imagine they'll probably do. Because I've seen that in the past, would always have that girl boy kind of separation. I know like back in the day, can barely see it on camera here. The microphone's in the way, but good old Optimus and Red Alert from the, and no joke, I was working at Burger King when these Cybertron toys came out, and the accompanying promo at the time was Care Bears. I remember the Care Bear promotion. So they always kind of do that where they have like a boy toy, a girl toy. But yeah, bizarre looking stuff. Bizarre looking stuff, let me tell you. What weird proportions. Obviously does not transform, but we don't exist in that day and age. Although it's sad because those old Burger King ones back in the day at least kind of transformed. So such a shame. Such a shame. A bygone time. What has happened to fast food toys? It's such a shame. But yeah, hey, Burger King kids meal. What? I almost kind of want to just get these out of old time's sake, just because I used to work at BK. But yeah, check that out. Then we have Walmart Collector Con. So we have the official date and everything with that. There's the countdown is now officially on Walmart's website on walmart.com on their Collector Con section. So 11 days and a couple of hours away. It's going to be, of course, March 19th will be when that happens. Oh, Mick Tankies is dropping some memberships to a bunch of people. 50 oh geez, 50 Mick Tankies, you are crazy, brother. Gonna get a whole bunch of notifications now. We got a little crazy. Gotta reach for the notifications. Wonder who didn't get it. That's what always happens. My goodness, let's see who got them. Anyone that I know got one. A lot of new people getting memberships. It's gonna be a sea of memberships. Thank you again, Mr. Tankies, man. Mr. Tankies, thank you for all the love and support. Always. My goodness. I'm trying to see if there's anyone I recognize that got it. Larry always never gets it. Aaron Archer never gets it. 2 of the Hasbro guys never seem to get it. It's so funny. I wonder, Ninjatron didn't get it. See, Larry didn't get it. Ninjatron didn't get it. It's so weird. What is the criteria? How does it decide who gets the memberships? It's so weird. It always avoids you, Aaron Archer, the Hasbro dudes, the 2 Hasbro guys that are always in the chat. I don't want to single them out, but you could probably figure out who. It's so funny. That's so funny how that always happens. Transformatics didn't get it. Big Bot Bodega didn't get it. It's weird. It's almost like the people that I know don't get it. It's so weird. I don't know. I'm not going to try to understand YouTube. Trying to understand YouTube is trying to understand a foreign language sometimes. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. Branded accounts cannot get gifted membership. Really? Is that how it is? Branded accounts? Interesting. I did not know. But Larry's account is not branded. Larry's account is just for Larry when he wants to watch like GTA walkthroughs or something. That's weird. Huh. Either way. Interesting. Getting back to what I was saying, but again, thank you, McTankies, for all the memberships. So Walmart Collector Con, we have the date is going to be, of course, on the 19th. We have a list here of all the different stuff that's going to be getting some kind of exclusives. And yeah, it's a big list of stuff. The one that is interesting though, like Labubu's on there. So like that also tells me like, man, when they were planning these exclusives, because like the Labubu boom was like last year around August-ish. I want to July, August-ish. Last year was when the Labubu boom really kind of reached its peak. And it's like, man, like, well, they're going to have a Labubu exclusive. We'll see how that one goes. I don't know. Snell World Proto, I'm just happy with the Titan Age of Extinction Grimlock. Comes with 2 hands and ribs. I'm glad to pay the. You know what's funny? Like, we kind of had like a giant. We kind of had a Age of Extinction Grimlock that had 2 hands in that of what was it, that Chomp and Smash version that came with the giant sword, and that one was huge. So technically, although it's definitely, and it had lights and sounds, and it had biting attack ability, and it was as big as a Titan class. Easily. I wish I could turn my camera, but it'll probably screw up everything. I'll try to turn it. Let me just scroll back down here. I don't know if I could turn the camera. It's not. I'm going to screw up everything. Can we get? There he is. There he is. That's all movie toys. First movie, second movie, third movie, fourth movie, blah, 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 and then it ends at Age of Extinction. Then I had to go around. Look how big he is compared to everyone else. And I'm screwing up the camera. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just put this back and not mess everything up, shall we? That's why I don't like to mess with the camera too much. Okay. So, but yeah, so that's going to be happening on the 19th. So not next week, the week after that. There's going to be a whole bunch of drops, whole bunch of reveals, and they're all going to be Walmart exclusive stuff. So probably their capsules, you could probably speculate based on some listings that we saw online from JT Prime 17. We'll get into that next week when we have that road to that madness. So check that out, yo. Very, very cool. And then, of course, this article that dropped, that is our discussion for today. And it's that of Target is planning to cut down on the number of toys they'll be selling in their stores in half. So they recently had a Target CEO and managers meeting in Minnesota, and they were talking about what is not working out at local Target big box locations. And there is a huge amount of problems of toy inventory that is unsold and having to go on clearance. And that always hurts everything because, it's something where, yeah, even when they sell it on clearance, they still make profit, but it's a matter of the space of the inventory taking space that could be stuff that could be making maximum profit. The space that could be an entire row of toys. Now think about it. In the average Target, it's usually about 6 rows of toys, maybe 7, maybe 8, depending on how active your Target is. But you're usually talking like 1 row of name, like not name brand, but like house brand kind of toys, 1 row of Play School kind of toys, 1 row of collectible blind box trading card stuff, 1 row of the girls brand, 1 row of the boys brand, and 1 row of the die cast. And then you could interchange or take away one of what I just mentioned. So obviously there's probably an emphasis on, hey, if we take away 50% of the toys are taken away. Does that mean like they could fill that with stuff that is deemed profitable? A better turnover of clothing profits or a better turnover of, household goods. So there is something going on where they are going to be cutting back. I firmly point the blame at pricing. I think that a big reason why a lot of product doesn't move is because we've entered a world now where toys have become luxury goods. It's entered that era where now it's like, oh, like only adults collect toys. The kids who do get toys get them as at best as a gift. I mean, look, every time when I buy a deluxe Transformer, in the rare time that I would pay full MSRP, and I've done it a few times, mostly when it's like a must-get character. But when I do pay full MSRP, I feel like I'm ripping a Band-Aid off. It's so painful for me, especially as a Canadian. And it's just like, I'm like going like, Ma, it used to never be like this. For me to buy a deluxe, when I buy a deluxe today, it feels like when I was buying a liter back then. That's just how it's expensive it's got. And you could argue inflation, and you could argue so many other things, but the cost of the dollar, as I like to call it, has not kept up with inflation. I did a segment, gosh, I want to say 6 years ago, where I compared minimum wage during Armada. And then I moved throughout the years and I talked about how minimum wage got completely outpaced by the price of Transformers. And I was using Transformers as a measuring stick. And the reason why I was able to really compare that was because when Armada was out at the time, back in 2001, and here's Old Man Proto Man, but when Armada was on television and when it was in store shelves, Proto Man was working at Burger King, making minimum wage, working a 40-hour shift, and he was buying everything with no problem because $10 deluxes, $15 at the time they were called super cons, but the price points, but we'll call them a Voyager, you know, you were able to buy everything and have leftover money, and it was so easy to do. Today, like 3 deluxes eats up your entire minimum wage paycheck, regardless of who you are. It's crazy. It's crazy, and I hate to say it, the figurines don't use more plastic. The packaging doesn't use more plastic. Costs have gone up, and the reduction is pretty crazy. Eric said it the best. Eric, Quebec Deluxe, Quebec, which is where I am, Montreal, Quebec, Deluxe is around 46 Canadian for F's sake. And that's before our Quebec taxes of 13%. 13% Quebec taxes. I'm paying literally almost $55 for a deluxe figure. But, I just go, man, I got to get me, XYZ, so that's why I'm very hesitant with that. But that's why it's something where it's like it's crazy where you have this. And Ashna, don't worry, Hasbro is suing over the tariffs. Here's the thing that bothers me. Hasbro's suing over the tariffs, but here's the thing. The tariffs were put on to us. That doesn't make sense. Why would they sue over the tariffs if the extra cost was then put onto the consumer? Shouldn't the consumer be getting the money? Shouldn't the consumers be suing, if anything? I'm not saying sue Hasbro, but sue the government if that's the case. It's silly. It's silly. Like all of that discussion is silly. And in the end, it's only just going to work out for the companies. And they're just going to, if they do get some kind of huge refund, here's a spoiler, it's just going to come out of your own taxes. That's all. If they're going to sue, when you sue the government, where do you think that money comes from? And especially when the person who's suing the government is just a big company. It's not like it's, blue collar workers that are suing the government. It's multi-billion dollar Fortune 500 companies suing the government because they need the money, of course, And then when the government has to give that money back, they go, well, we need extra money. We got to take that from our taxes. And guess who pays taxes? Blue collar workers. So I don't know. That is absolute bonkers whenever I read that. It's absolute insanity. Like we are the recipients of the tariff increases. We're the ones that paid the tariffs for the companies because tariffs happened and they went, oops a doopsie, got to raise the prices for them to then go, we want our money back. No, you didn't lose a dime. So that's silly. And that's every company. I'm not just isolating Hasbro here. I'm isolating every company did that to us. I watched Nintendo Switch games go from $75 to $89.99, the exact same Switch games. Oh, there's Mario RPG, the remake for the Switch. I see it in Walmart. Oh, one day I'll pick it up. And then I go back and it's $89.99. Oh, it was tariff. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Nintendo is also suing. Yeah, Nintendo also increased the prices on us. We paid for the tariffs, not Nintendo. Nintendo didn't pay anything. I think that's silly. I really don't agree with that. I think that there's a greed that's going on there. And at the end of the day, I hate to say it, in the long run, it's not going to benefit us, the consumer. I hate that. I really do, because companies are always going to feed themselves before they feed their customers. And look what happened. Prices are increased. Now Target wants to carry less stock of toys. And then you're going to end up in a situation where it's going to be like, great, now there's less places to buy Transformers. It becomes more difficult to buy stuff. A monopoly ends up being created, or a hard market due to scalping or just, no inventory. And then it just becomes difficult. And all because the need for profits, the obsession for profits, the want for profits, the always having to go to your investors and going, look how much money. During the era of Aaron Archer before the 2007 movies, it was ups and downs of Hasbro stock. It just was. I have a great image that I posted many years ago on my Twitter of showing how Hasbro stock was, I think it was from 1982 or 83 up until about 2021. And it was crazy how like they had such a high expectation that, after the 2007 movie, every quarter has to go up. And you have to do whatever it takes for it to go up. And I hated that because now, even if it means sacrificing customer. And the sad thing is that you keep increasing the prices, you end up losing parents buying toys for their kids, you end up having kids go to devices, and the sad reality is when it comes to, let me just pull this down, and the sad reality when it comes to devices is they rather download free gotcha games on their cell phones or iPads, or when I play on the Nintendo Switch, there's tons of free games that are on there, and that doesn't cost their parents a dime, as opposed to a luxury good of a $5 item or a $10 item or a $20 item or a $59.99 item of a toy. And then you lose them forever. If a child doesn't have a childhood of toys, they don't have a nostalgia for it. Think about every kid that's grown up now in the 2010s that are now like in their teens, like 13-year-olds to 15-year-olds. When they're going to be in their 20s, they're not going to have nostalgia for toys. Their nostalgia is going to be cell phone related stuff. Is going to be device related stuff. And when we age out, and by we meaning this guy, when we hit our 50s, 60s, 70s, when we have grandkids and we're just like, there'll be a resurgence when we're in our like 70s and retired, like in our late 60s and 70s, there'll be a resurgence. But by then, who knows? Will Hasbro even exist in the same shape and form by then? Who knows? But again, and I know there's Hasbro guys listening, and I know those guys don't really sit in the meetings with the ivory tower guys. These are usually just guys that are on the design team or the marketing teams, but it is something that's a warning. You guys got to be careful with that, because you guys and these guys at the company, you guys are going to be there for the next 20 years. If you guys are plan to still be in the toy biz and still be with Hasbro, you're going to be there for the next 20 years. And so the longevity of your own employment is completely tied to that of your company's success. Otherwise, you're going to end up like John Warden, who was a lifer with that company and was laid off, and which was disgusting, and so many others who were such key figures of that company. And then it's like, yeah, peace, you're too expensive now. That's not cool. But again, that's why when people say to me like, hey, I'd love to work for Hasbro, it's like, look, don't let that be the dream. Let that be a bucket list thing in that you do it and then that's it. But don't let that be the dream. Because let me tell you something. You work for Hasbro, it's fun. You get to learn things. But don't think it's some kind of lifetime achievement and you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. It's something where you just got to hope for the best and let creativity flow in more directions than just one brand. I was lucky to work on Transformers. I was lucky to work, on other brands within the Hasbro bubble, mostly because I didn't want to say no. So I had the right copy for other stuff, but, like My Little Pony. But the point is that, and Beyblade, but the point is that, even I knew that one day that would come to an end, and then you move on to other things. And it's something where this is the reality of companies and stuff like that. Princeton Phalanx 59 with a super chat. I heard that Legacy Armada Optimus was getting reissued. Is this what's being said correct? Well, that was a JT Prime 17 post. I didn't hear anything about that. And I don't think that actually happened. Did it? This is the first I heard of it, and this was like 2 days ago when someone told me that. So I think he might have been mistaken. And keep in mind, JT Prime 17 is not a Hasbro employee. He's a retail distribution employee. So he's a lot more aware of that kind of stuff going on. So I don't know, maybe his information was incorrect. So that's why whenever I say JT Prime 17 on the podcast, notice I always use an image of a Walmart computer. So kind of give you an idea. Fonhart and with expenses, their move to the bigger city. Oh my God, them moving to Boston. I think their move to Boston is going to hurt that company so bad that they do not even realize it. But the problem is the decision to go to Boston is decided by individuals in that company that are making a lot of money. So when you're very rich, and I'm not talking like dentist rich, I'm not talking doctor rich. I'm talking CEO ivory tower rich. I'm talking, do I get the Bugatti or do I get the Ferrari rich? Those guys, it doesn't matter where you move, they're going to be just fine. But do you think that the lower wage employees that make the 100 to 80K a year who work in that company, they're not going to be able to pay the extra expenses of living in Boston? They are literally they're normalizing their business expenses and their lifestyle expenses to what Rhode Island was, Providence specifically, all this time, and then you're going to go to something that literally jumps 25 to 30%. Eggs are 25 to 30%. Daycare is 25 to 30%. Education, again, I did a segment talking about it. We broke it down on NerdWallet. NerdWallet was a website where if you're moving, you could compare how different your life will be if you live in one place to another in terms of expenses. Go check out nerdwallet.com. Not sponsored by this podcast, just good for knowledge and information. I'm worried for some of my fellow workers because I know for a fact, I don't want to name names, but when certain people were fired from that company, I'm not Aaron Archer, Aaron wasn't fired, but other people, I don't want to name names, but they went through financial problems and they needed help making money because they weren't exactly getting paid very well and they needed to make money because it is what it is. And those individuals needed help, obviously, selling Transformer product that they had working for the company. And so they came to me, and I know people who would love to buy some of those Hasbro items. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But the point is that those individuals pretty much confided in me that, hey, they make 80K. Some of them make 90K. But 1 year of not work in a very niche market of like, oh, I'm working in a toy company. There's only so many of those in this day and age. And there's only so many spots. So it's a tough one. It's a very deep discussion today for that, but it is a tough one. It is a tough one. T-Formers, what do you got to say here? The whole Target situation really sucks since I rarely get to visit their stores, and now a couple and finally come close by me now in your hometown is going to be less product. Well, my hope, and this is my hope when it comes to the Target thing, they did mention, and I just want to just kind of, I'm going to blow it up here. They mention that they're going to focus more on it's the third to last sentence there. So Cassandra Jones says electronics, toys, and sporting goods will simply be more thoughtfully merchandised with a point of view. Meaning that I think, and that's all corporate speak, but what I think it is more than anything is that they're going to focus more on higher end toys. So I don't think it's going to affect Transformers too much, where, I think more of the tchotchke kind of garbage goods that they have. Again, the no-name brand kind of toys, maybe a majority of the junky kind of toys and stuff. I think those might get dialed back a little bit. But again, who knows? And Aaron just comes in right at this point when we're talking about everything going on with the toy industry. Aaron, you missed a whole rant about Hasbro. Bro. But yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is, guys. And we'll definitely keep you guys posted on what's happening with that as it continues. This was just a piece of news because of the CEO meetings and the manager meetings and going like, how do we make money? How do we save money? And again, it's a global issue that affects all kinds of stuff. But again, the discussion that we're having is what affects us as toy collectors. And that kind of happens with that. So then, before we get into what we got this week and sponsorships, we do have a reveal today. And Aaron came just in time. What did Aaron say here? I've been part of enough Hasbro rants in my life. I could only imagine. Aaron. Um, but we're going to be revealing a TFCon exclusive. This will be a TFCon exclusive related to the Transformers Slag podcast. So shall we? We've been waiting on this one. So let's go.
サイバトロン新たなる勇士登場デストロン要塞3号ガルバトロンを撃てシティコマンダーウルトラマグナス発進スクランブルパワー全開行け対決
So here we have it, people. Let's pull it up on the screen. Celebrating both the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie and the 35th anniversary of the Super Nintendo, I present to you Super TFTM World transforms into a little certain someone. Nondescript, Emperor of Destruction with a very Yoshi-inspired game. This will be the exclusive at TFCon LA at my table. I do not know where I will be located in the con, but I will figure out something. There will be 50 of these available at the booth. And obviously, if you are a TFCon Patreon member, as a gift and a thank you for being part of the Patreon, if you've been part of the Patreon for more than 3 months and will be present at the convention, you will get this for free as a thank you. Again, I'm always thankful to my patrons, so that will be also available to you. We just need to prove who you are and everything, so we'll work that out. We'll talk about that later tonight. But so that will be the exclusive that'll be available. There will be 50 of those at the booth. Do not worry. These will not only just be at TFCon LA. We will probably make a small assortment of stock also for TFCon Toronto. But by Orlando, I don't think we'll have something else planned for Orlando, but stay tuned for that. And also to meet the demand, because last time I was in LA, we had the red and blue Pokemon cartridge. We didn't have the yellow one. So we're going to be doing 15 of these, a limited run to those who missed out. Those will also be available at the booth. So again, 50 of those, 15 of the Pokemon cartridge one, of the Bumblebee, red, yellow bee, that one. So that will also be available. So check that out, yo. That is going to be TFCon LA next week, wherever Proto Man's ugly mug is in the convention. And one more time.
サイバトロン新たなる勇士登場デストロン要塞3号ガルバトロンを撃てシティコマンダーウルトラマグナス発進スクランブルパワー全開行け対決
So I hope you enjoy that. We will have other stuff planned in the near future. Again, thank you to Ben Studios for the design. Thank you to Damon Bat for the beautiful label design, which I hope Damon will be at TFCon Orlando, so you can buy all his amazing art and his hard work that he does. So, yeah, check that out, yo. Very, very cool. The plan is these are going to be $15 each, just to cover costs and everything and keep it simple. And yeah, fun little thing. You could store the weapon on the back. You could put it on the arm. Fun little stuff. Nice little transformation. A little different than what we've done up to this point. And stay tuned for more of that. And yeah, and so again, if you are interested and you are going to be at TFCon LA, please contact me through your Patreon account. We will make you a special code, and then you will just scan that code with me, and then you will get your free exclusive. Again, you have to be part of the Patreon, been part of Patreon for more than 3 months. That's it. Because I've had in the past where people join the Patreon to get the exclusive, and then they cancel their account. So, always some bad actors. It's just how it is. So, yep. And again, because we only have 50, I want to make sure that every one of my patrons are able to get stuff. We have a small assortment for them. As for patrons that are not coming to TFCon, I'll try to work something out. It's just the problem is right now, I used to ship them out, but the problem is right now is because of what's going on with the tariff stuff and everything, I can't ship anything to the United States without headaches. Now we have this problem where if I even ship a pin, they're like, "What's the country of origin? How is it made?" Da, 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 da. So and it ends up costing way more. Just the shipping alone is probably going to be $25, let alone the item itself, and no one wants to have to pay that. So, and I don't want to go through the headache of having to go through customs forms for all of that. I'm going to try to figure something out. Maybe I could ship it out through one of my distributors within the United States. We'll cover that bridge later on after TFCon LA. I'll try to figure all that stuff out by then. But you will see. You will see. Better than the McChangeables? I don't know about that. I think these are just really fun. It's just something I like to do every time with you guys. And again, so you're going to have this, and you're going to have this. This will be available at the booth, as well as some of the Mega Man comics, which will also be available. But again, the Mega Man books will be in limited stock, just because there's only so many I could bring. You know, heavy stuff in the old suitcase. Comic books are heavy. So that's it, more or less. Let's get into sponsorship and then what we got this week, and then we'll jump into questions from the audience and super chats and chillax. As always, and because it's TFCon LA next week, this is very topical because, of course, most importantly, Symbiote Studios will have a nice, beautiful booth at TFCon LA. They will have all the Transformer product to purchase. And again, I can't stress this enough. Go there first because inventory last time sold out completely. And then people were not happy. So if you do want to get a Symbiote Studio plush or a pin or a t-shirt of any of the Transformer product, especially because Swoop is going to be debuting that weekend. It's going to technically be the con debut exclusive, will be Swoop of the Dinobots. These are all officially licensed. These aren't third party. It's one of the few TFCon exclusives that are actually official. So definitely swing by that booth first because once it sells out, it sells out. It's a headache. So definitely go to that booth first if you're going to be at TFCon LA because I saw very quickly by the late Saturday, early Sunday, there was nothing left. And then by Sunday, everything was gone. So check them out, symbiotestudios.com if you want to order online for all their other stuff. Of course, their My Little Pony collection, all the other Hasbro brands, and of course, Magic the Gathering, and then some, symbiotestudios.com. Definitely going to grab the Snarl and the Swoop. Yeah, the Swoop is going to be, I imagine the Swoop is probably going to be the first one that sells out, and probably the Snarl after that, because that was something that was very popular at San Diego. I was quite surprised how well the Snarl did. But I guess people just like a good Stegosaurus. I like Snarl. Snarl's cool. So that's how it is, yo. That's how it is. And then let's talk about the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We're working on a segment. We had some technical difficulties. We're going to get it out as soon as possible, figure all that out, and then you can listen to Aaron's creamy voice as always. And he could tell you about all the greatness of the robots in the skies. We have a great segment coming celebrating, I don't want to spoil too much what it is, but it's a really good segment with a lot of cool stuff and knowledge. Very cool. Very cool. So check that out. And in the meantime, again, guys, you're chilling here. You're chilling here hanging out with me. Go hang out at the Toy Armada too. Go check out those segments. A lot of good stuff there. A lot of really good stuff there. Then you got Also, Aaron's Posca paintings. He put up a new one just recently, put up his Ravage one, which was really cool. So check those out. These are some that are still available on archermonster.com/shop. Pick them up. Look at Shia. He's loving his Bumblebee one that he's got there. And they're all looking great. So again, the new one is the Ravage one there from Revenge of the Fallen. There's a cool Rodimus one. There's some classic stuff. There's some Beast Machines. There's some Robots in the Skies. There's some Armada. There's some Marvel crossover. Little bit of everything is on there. Own a piece of Transformer history, a one of one. archermonster.com/shop. Dean says, you're going to be at the Florida TFCon. Yes, but it's so far away. Like, tentatively, yes, but it's also like, what, 9 months away? So, let's put it this way, Dean. My schedule for cons, it's going to be TFCon LA, a Japan trip, San Diego Comic-Con, TFCon Toronto, Otaku-thon, and that's like 5 different shows just between now and August. And I believe TFCon Orlando is October? Correct me if I'm wrong. So it's still so far away that I'm not even thinking about it right now. There's so many other shows in between that, and even one of my own conventions here locally in Montreal. So there's so much in between right now that I'm not even thinking about it. But I guess so. I'll worry about it when it's like summer. I'll think about it then. Late October, there we go. So it's even further. Yeah. So it's still a while. I mean, I was at the last one, so chances are I'll be at this one, but I'll figure it out then. I will figure it out then. Florida was really good. I really liked the dealers there. There was some cool stuff. Not a big fan of Florida weather, but Florida weather in October is probably much more manageable than, let's say, July. So it probably won't be too bad, especially in a late October going into November. It's probably, just hope it's not rain season, I guess. But yeah, definitely will probably be there. And might as well also give a shout out to myself because we have the Mega Man book that's out this month. Well, not this month. It's actually last month. So issue number 1 came out last month, and of course this month. So next week, and it's going to be March 18th on the week after that. New Comic Book Wednesday, March 18th. We'll have Mega Man X number 2. This is the Flame Mammoth and Spark Mandrill story. If you know, you know. Here's some beautiful covers here. The top right cover is the Alex Milne cover. We got Alex Milne, the legendary Transformer artist, to do a cover for us. The cover Cs are all famous Transformer creators doing a cover. I would have liked Aaron to do one, but I don't know why he didn't want to. Maybe in the future we'll convince Aaron to do a cover for us. And yeah, so check those out. We got a lot of other big names in the Transformer world doing covers. We have Marcelo, his has already been revealed, and I believe, I don't think some of the no, I think Guido's has been revealed too. Guidi's has been revealed. Issue number 5's Transformer cover has not been revealed yet, so stay tuned for that. Good stuff. So, and that one will be March 18th. I'll have at TFCon weekend, I'll have copies of the Don Figueroa cover for issue number 1. So if you want to get the Transformer Don Figueroa cover, will be available. I'll have some copies of issue number 0. I'll have some copies of Mega Man X Timeline that I wrote. So if you didn't get one at a local comic book store, I'll have a limited number of them. So check that out. Cringe McCringle. Daniel, I saw a 60-year-old woman at the bank today wearing a Mega Man shirt. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm in my soon-to-be mid-40s, so there's a lot of people that grew up on Mega Man. So Ninjatron, I always tell you, look, if you have any kind of art, I'll forward it to Matt, and then Matt just decides, A lot of people that I know have sent me their pitches of art, and I show it to Matt and I show it to their editors, and then they decide what works for their polish and style. I will say this, guys, and I keep always saying this, You could have the most amazing line art in the world. If your colors are not good, that could cost you your gig. So I always say, like, if your color game is not great, find a good colorist to help you out. Look, Alex Milne works with Josh Perez. Josh Perez is a top tier, top 3 of all time colorist in the toy industry. Excuse me, in the comic industry. And he works magic for people. And I've seen Josh literally work on like people who, and again, I can't draw to save my life, so I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but I've seen people that were mediocre artists, and then Josh would color their stuff and it looked amazing. So sometimes a colorist could save you everything. So if you're going to do submissions to Udon or any other comic book company to show your art, especially for pinups and covers, you got to be on point and you got to get your colors on point. So, yeah. And I mean, the Alex Milne cover that I just showed you there, that's Alex Milne's art, but that's Josh Perez's colors. So, and look how dynamic that coloring is compared to, and no offense to the others, they're all super talented people, whether it be Chamba's cover, Atomic Mushrooms cover, excuse me, Marshmallow's cover, Edwin's cover, and Hanzo's cover. But look at Josh Perez's coloring compared to all the others. Dynamic, shiny, it pops out. It's the top right one for people that aren't aware. So very important, very, very important, and will help a lot. Will help a lot ultimately in the end. So definitely check that out, yo. Yeah, and Josh did that amazing 86 cover. Transformers the movie 1986 cover with Mega Man characters. Maybe get Pat Lee. You know what? No joke. Look. I would love to have Pat Lee do a cover, but I know too many people that have worked with Pat Lee that want his head, unfortunately, that would not want him to work on it. And some of those people work within Udon, so it's a tough one, unfortunately. A lot of Udon stuff was kind of partially born out of the downfall of Dreamwave Productions, but that's a whole other conversation. I'm sure Pat's doing well. I have no ill will towards Pat. He's always been good to me, but I know a lot of people personally that unfortunately do not share that sentiment at all. So it is what it is. And of course, Free Comic Book Day, which again, also Josh Perez did the coloring of that cover. That was Chamba who did the art. Fantastic stuff. The interior art on that one is Mick Fong, who worked on the old Mega Man comics with Dreamwave Productions, oddly enough. And Josh Perez did the coloring on that one. But that will be in May on Free Comic Book Day. We will cross that bridge when the time comes. Still quite a while from now, but we always have to get that stuff done as early as possible. Yeah. So there's that. So what did we get this week? I only got 2 things, and one of them was actually quite a surprise. So well, first I'll show. So I went to a book fair today, and just checking it out. There was a local book fair at like a church, and I was like, oh, these book fairs, I've gone to them in the past, and they usually yield pretty cool stuff because sometimes there'll be comic books, sometimes there'll be really good art books that are cheap. And what's great about this book fair, it's like nothing is more than like $4 in this thing because it's like large hardcover, $3. Small hardcover, $2. Trade paperback like $1.50. And this is Canadian, by the way. Like comic books, $1 to 50 cents. And I always find cool stuff. And in the past, because I always like looking for like, Magic the Gathering books, or I'll look for comic books and stuff like that, or really cool art books or reference books or sports biographies. I love those, like The Game Was Ours, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. I'm reading that currently. The Game by Ken Dryden. That's another really good sports book. All these like, winner mentality kind of individuals, high performance people, as I like to call them. I got a few things, but in terms of cool Transformer stuff, I didn't even know this existed, this book. And I found it at the book fair. This is a hardcover book. It's called Adventures of Transformers Animated. This is a hardcover. I didn't even know this existed. And what it is essentially is they took some episodes of Transformers Animated, had an illustrator draw unique art for it to represent it and do it in a storybook form. Now, there's obviously also some movie stuff that's featured in here too, adaptations of some of the movie stuff, and that features art by one of my cover creators, oddly enough, Guido Guidi. So you do have like Meet the Autobots. So it's like you know, from the first Michael Bay movie and everything. Oh, there's, you know, and again, unique art that was made for these kids' books and everything. But then you get into some of the animated pages. And at first they use only like, you know, the traditional control art that was, I believe Marcello took Derek Wyatt's stuff. Aaron maybe could confirm that with me. But this was like Marcello taking Derek Wyatt's models and kind of giving them the box art treatment for control art, which is always featured on the side of the packaging or the front of the packaging. But so very interesting book. And again, a lot of control art stuff. And then a whole bunch of unique art for different storytelling. You know what I mean? All this unique animated art that was featured. Very cool. A little bit of there's sorry. Very interesting. And it's a thick book too. It's like multiple, like, oh, it's like tons of stuff. Hardcover, $1.50. $1.50 for this. What did this retail? This was from Sandy Creek Books, and this retailed for $14.99 back then. Mind you, this was like 2008, I would imagine. Probably 2008, 2009, 2010. But very interesting. Didn't even know this existed. Caught my eye because I just saw like, oh, Transformers, what's this? It has animated on the cover with that early Optimus Prime art. That was like super early art. But very, very cool. Very, very cool. So I got that and a whole bunch of other books, but nothing really worth mentioning in terms of Transformer related, just a lot of Marvel comics and stuff like that. Again, when you pick them up for 50 cents to a dollar, you can't go wrong. 50 cents to a dollar Canadian. But what was really cool was I got a package in the mail that I was not expecting, and it came from Hasbro West Coast. And I can't really show the package because it kind of has, you know, addresses and everything on it. Um, but it was a thank you from the Hasbro West Coast team. I was featured in the apology tour thing, which I'm going to wait a little longer because there's still some other stuff that's going to come from the apology tour uh, before I kind of like show some behind the scenes stuff. But they sent me some thank you stuff in the mail, and they sent me this bad boy here as an extra thank you. So I got a wind charger. I didn't pick them up yet. So yay, thank you Hasbro and your marketing team in the West Coast Hasbro. I don't know who exactly, maybe Jason. But yeah, thank you for the wind charger with his magnetic abilities. So that's awesome. Saved me almost $50 on that one. So thank you for that. That came in the mail from good old Hasbro. But yeah, so there's that, and that's it more or less. There wasn't much else. Again, next week's going to be TFCon LA. That's going to be all the cool stuff. The only other thing that I did today was because it's, you know, we're coming up to the conventions. I just kind of did some printouts and stuff because there's a lot of unique people this weekend to get autographs. Like, look, all three Carr brothers from Robots in Disguise are going to be there. You know, the voice of both Sideburn and Prowl are two really tough guys to get their autographs. Wingus and Wankus. I'm not even joking. That's both their like stage names, not their real names, but their stage names. Those are like, one of them's like a radio DJ. One of them kind of does like only video game stuff. Those are two hard autographs to kind of come by. So to get like all three of them, that's going to be pretty cool. The voice of RID Megatron is going to be there. Practically a good chunk of the Beast Wars cast. And as a result, because most of the Beast Wars cast is there, that's a huge chunk of the Mega Man cast. So you're going to have Ian Corlett, who's Mega Man. You're going to have Richard Newman, who's like like every Robot Master. Gary Chalk is Gutsman. Ian Corlett is also Rush. I mean, all we're missing is like if we get Inferno, if he's announced, we'll get Dr. Light. If we get Scott McNeil, if he gets announced, we'll get Proto Man and Dr. Wily. You'll have the whole cast right there. So it's pretty crazy. TFCon is gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. And I sound like a broken telephone, but I can't stress enough, guys. Like I can't stress enough. If you're gonna go to one show the whole year, go to TFCon LA. Go save up your money and go to TFCon LA. It's not tough. It's not tough, guys. It's not tough to do it. If you're buying entire waves of Transformers, if you were able to buy all of Devastator, you could go to TFCon LA. You know what I mean? You could save up. Yeah, and he also played Hank Pym from the best version of the Avengers, and he played a few other characters, if I remember correctly, in that show. I know he played a few other guys. I think he was Ultron in that. I think he was also Ultron. Um, a lot of cool stuff. But Gary Chalk's going to be there, so I can't wait to see him again. Doug Walker is going to be there. Doug Walker, like, yeah, he's Pterosaur, but he's like a voice actor producer for tons of shows that I love. I'm excited because Lee Tokar is going to be there. So that's Street Sharks. I'm going to get Ripster. He was like the leader of the Street Sharks. So that's pretty cool. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. It's going to be a fun weekend. There's easily 30 different guests thus far that have been announced. Probably more still to come over the next couple of days. And of course, both, Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are going to be there. So those are big ones too. It's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do is probably on the Thursday setup. When I find out where I am in the room, I'll tweet it out. And then that way you guys will be able to find me. Because usually it would always be next to the king himself, Aaron Archer. But because Aaron's not going to be there, it's going to be a little tougher to kind of figure out where you could find me, where the exclusives will be, where the comics will be, and everything. But once we have that all figured out, we'll have it all smoothed out and everything good with that. And yeah, so again, especially with the exclusives, that's the big one too. But yeah, where else we got here? Tom Kane did Ultron from. Was it Tom Kane? Okay. I don't remember. I think, maybe he did the Ultron clones? I think it was the Ultron clones then or something. Because I know he did something. I know he did something else in that. He wasn't just Hank Pym. But there's a lot of, that's the one cool thing is that there's a lot of voice actors that are going to be there that weekend that don't do conventions. Like they're what I call like the rare autographs. And those are always tough. Those are always ones that like, it's like, oh, hey, he only did like 5 conventions in his entire life. And then if that dude passes away, that's such a small window. I'm always reminded of G1 Inferno. Emerson, something, I forget his name was, but G1 Inferno, he did one convention his entire life, and it was a car show convention where for whatever reason he wrote a book about automobiles, and because anyone who knew that he was going to be at that show, and this is like we're talking like early 2000s, and because they knew he was at that show, a lot of Transformer fans went to that show and got stuff signed. He did that one show, and then I believe he passed away in 2006 or 2007. Walker Edmondson. I remember something like that. Yeah. And he just did one con, and it was a car show. And like that's like a really tough autograph to get today. And it sucks because I never went to that car show, and I would have loved to get like G1 Inferno, you know? But there's some tough guys, and it's the same thing. Like some of those dudes, they only might be at this show. And it's the same reminder. The last time we did TFCon LA, there was a lot of voice actors from the old G1 crew that they're, and I don't want to sound mean, but they're so old that they can't even like fly anymore. Meaning like for them to get on a plane and go to another convention is out of the question. So there's a lot of those voice actors where they're just like, if it ain't in LA, I ain't doing it. And so like, Clive and So many of the others, like it's just like they just kind of do that little bubble of the LA scene and that's it. So it's your only opportunity to meet some of those voice actors. Look, the reason why there's so many voice actors at this TFCon LA is because it's West Coast. Gary Chalk lives in Vancouver. It's a flight down. Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, they live in LA. Like all these guys live nearby, you know? So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. So, but always try to do that show. I understand there's a lot of people that have the mentality of like, you know, I want to wait until there's a TFCon near me. Brother, as someone who lived in Canada, specifically in Montreal, if I had that mentality, I would have still been waiting to this day. I would have been waiting forever. You can't, you have to get on a plane and get to wherever you need to get to. And trust me, it's like a drug. You're going to do it once and you're going to want to do it every time afterwards. So many people I know when they did their first BotCon or their first TFCon, after they do it, they're like, oh my God, I want to do this forever because it's so fun. You know, it's so fun. And it is. It's great. It's addictive. It's fun hanging out with people. T-Formers 2002, finally getting Peter Cullen's autograph this con. Well, there you go. And Peter's awesome. The one thing that's going to surprise you with Peter, though, he's not as tall as people think he is. That bellowing voice. So Jaws D, who's a friend of the podcast, former co-host of the podcast, still does stuff with us every so often. Jaws D is not a tall man, to say the least. And I remember he took a photo with Peter Cullen, and they were both standing. And I went, wait a minute. Because I don't know, I guess I've met Peter so many times, but I guess every time I met him, he was probably either sitting or he was at like some kind of booth or something. But Jaws D was standing next to Peter. I'm like, wait a minute, Jaws is only like slightly taller than Peter Cullen. How tall is Peter? So that's the one thing you're gonna notice with Mr. Cullen is he's not the tallest person, but he's got that bellowing voice. He's awesome. And the cool thing with Frank Welker is he's just Fred from Scooby Doo. His normal voice is Fred, so that's pretty cool. Been very, very cool. Sarah says I don't buy deluxes anymore. Damn thing costs $35 on Amazon and retail stores $40 down here in Mexico. My goodness. Well, there you go. You know, and think about it, right? Like for simple math, right? For very simple math, minimum wage, like, and I'm going to use the Canadian example, but it's very comparable. Minimum wage when Transformers Armada came out, right, was $8 and deluxes were 10. Okay? Minimum wage now is 15 in some places or less, and deluxes are 35, 40. The pacing is crazy now. It's outrun it so much that it's like you're going to go broke trying to be in this hobby, you know? You're going to go broke. So you have to really be careful. That's why I always say wait for sales. That's why I always say be careful with your money. That's why I always say if you're part of the Patreon, we have a whole section in the Patreon's Discord dedicated to sales. Just because I don't want people going broke in this hobby, you know? Look behind you, okay? Look behind me here. This is 40 years of 35 years of collecting Transformer toys. And most of this stuff was purchased before the inflation got even too crazy for me. I'll argue I finally stopped doing that. Like the light bulb went off when I went to one of my first BotCons during Energon, and then it was permanently like only buy stuff on sale mode by the time I got to Dark of the Moon. I started to really slow down by the time of the 2007 movie because there was so much product coming out. But then when I saw the prices just keep increasing every year, I couldn't. At that point, you know, do you want to be one of those guys that are like, oh, I'll never be able to afford a house, but here's every single Transformer toy I bought this year, and it comes up to $10,000. You know, it's like, what? So, no. Big Bot Baudet. I think I talked to Jaws D for a while. Chicago. I think he was. Yeah, Jaws D was at Chicago. Yeah. He was at Chicago. So it's something where, the prices are so crazy right now that you have to be really smart about it. And look, and I've said this before, when Walmart could sell deluxes for $15 and still make profit, that just tells you how slippery and schemy that slope could be, you know? It gets a little crazy how much profit they're making when everything is said and done. And I don't want my listeners to go poor to make a Fortune 500 company richer, you know? If Hasbro never made a dime ever again tomorrow, Chris Cox is still going to have his gold encrusted hot tub, 4 Ferraris, and giant house that he's slowly building in Boston. You know, he'll be just fine. You know, but I want to make sure my listeners are able to make their mortgages, are able to make their rent, are able to buy groceries. And I don't want you to starve or go poor because of this hobby. And as someone that worked at Burger King, but also obsesses over finance and money and being able to balance it, I was very lucky that when I worked at Burger King, it was like it almost worked out perfectly. Like I worked at Burger King, and then by the time Revenge of the Fallen came out, I had graduated from mechanic school and started transitioning to that. So I kind of made that transition for when stuff started to get more expensive. But imagine it started to get more expensive, but I wasn't going to play ball. I wasn't going to play ball, you know? Where are we at? Sarah, the last thing that I got at full price was Big Convoy because Amazon gift ticket. But since my mortgage is all, I always expect for the sell toys out. Well, again, a mortgage is more important. Groceries are more important. Your health is more important. Your financial security and financial freedom is more important. And I hate to break it to people, those toys will still be there. Nothing ever disappears forever. You today could go on eBay and buy pretty much any single G1 toy made 40 years ago today. Now, are they the same MSRP as they were 40 years ago? Of course not. Of course not. But that's not the point. The point is you still have the opportunity. So better to do well for yourself now and get it later, you know? T-Formers 2002, do you know if Josh will have comics for sale, 2 of his recent covers? That I do not know. I know Josh is going to be selling prints. I know that he's going to be doing commissions. If you do want to get a commission from Josh, go check out his Twitter, Dymooch, Dyemooch, at Dymooch on Twitter, and then contact him if you want to do a commission through him. I do not know if he's bringing comics, though. The problem with comics, guys, is they're very heavy. Comics to bring 30 books bagged and boarded so they don't get damaged, right? Weighs more than a Bakon box set, a big old Bakon box set with foam and 5 figures in it and a pin. And the only reason why I know that is because they always, as a Canadian who has to cross the border, they always weigh your suitcase. And I always see I'll fill up my suitcase with a ton of Bakon purchases and toys and stuff. And my suitcase weighs nothing. I bring a bunch of comics and it's I'm almost going over the limit because the limit I think is 35 pounds. It's I'm almost going over the limit with 60 books. No, not even 60 books. I think it was 45 books that I brought to, was it Chicago? What was the last show? I'm so bad with locations. What was the last TFCon in the US? I remember bringing that one, and that almost went over the weight limit. Rudy Mack just got Sea Spray and Brawn at Walmart, $15 Canadian. Oh, damn. Oh, I would like to get I was gifted Sea Spray by Nate, but I would love to get a Brawn on the cheap. Ooh, thank you, Rudy Mack. I think I'm gonna go take advantage of that if that is global. Not global, national. So I kind of hope that my Walmart might be playing because I know Walmart had dropped the retro carded stuff to 25 and some of the select deluxes, specifically the Walmart exclusive deluxes, of Age of the Primes. Those went down to 25 Canadian. But then, of course, they get bought up like crazy from people that are going to buy it and then try to flip them. But I'll take one Braun. I'll definitely try to pick that up. That'd be pretty cool because I know we had like a sea of those. Good to know. Good to know. I'm definitely going to go check it out tomorrow. Sarah says my recommendation is the Enjoy of Cyberworld Snarl at $4. Oh yeah. Well, that's why. Like I'm of the belief that like this kind of stuff, while it's not perfect, you know, but at the same time, what bothers me is something like this. They're asking $15 Canadian, or I believe what is it? It's 12 American for this price point, and it has like almost like 5 points of articulation. Oh, and the knees, excuse me, and the knees. You know, so it's like it's kind of crazy. You know how expensive things have got, and it's not because of the cost. Yes, plastic has gotten more expensive, but they've just cut in other areas and increased the costs. That's the problem, is that I would understand that argument if also figures were the same. Like if figures are now way more expensive, but they were the same plastic quality and weight, I'd agree with that. I sound like a broken record again. Grab a carded Armada toy. Grab a carded Armada toy and just look at it. The amount of plastic in that packaging, the fact that it comes with a comic book, the fact that it comes with a sticker trading card, the fact that it comes with a bulky, heavy ABS POM figure. Yeah, maybe it didn't have a crazy amount of decos on it, like a Hot Shot had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 deco hits, 9, 10 deco hits, you know, at like 4 cents a piece, at probably back then, you know, all of that. But it's crazy. And then like if they and we saw that through the Beast Wars reissues. The Beast Wars reissues taught us that deluxes back then cannot be the same price as deluxes today. They're going to be more, or they have to do something to those deluxes to make them cheaper, that they're not one for one reissues. We saw that through Retracts. They removed some of the legs on the Pillbug. We saw through Cheetor, they removed some of the deco hits and the spots. They did little things here and there. Same thing with Optimus Primal. It's a sad reality. Yeah, in the USA, everything is as low as 1150. Got Braun. Wow. Okay, good stuff. Well, now's the time. Now's the time. Buy that stuff on sale. Buy that stuff on sale. Now's the time to do it. You know, because it won't get any cheaper than that, guys. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. You're going to be buying that 10 out of 10 fun Braun mold, whether it be the Studio Series or that retro carded one. I have the Studio Series one. I don't have the retro card. I love to own the retro. I love Braun. Braun's one of my favorite mini bots. But it's something where it's like, what a great figure to get it for $11.50 USD. But I guarantee it's not going to get cheaper than that. And then you're going to turn around and then something of that same quality and price is going to jump right back up to 40 again, you know? And it's like whiplash. But the fact that Walmart could sell it for $11.50 and still make a profit tells you so much. Tells you so much about that. Outback. Ooh, I'd love to get the Outback too. Oh God, I love that. Outback is really cool. I love the mini bots are awesome. The wheelie I could almost kind of wait a little bit because I know they'll do like a better colored one, but the Outback, that Outback's awesome. Mr. Galactic Gamer, my local Walmart doesn't stock Age of the Prime Studio Series anymore, so discounts are limited to online stores, unfortunately. Well, again, you should always prowl Walmart's website when a sale does happen. You could swoop in and get it. Or same thing with Amazon. Again, that's what we do here on the Patreon. The Patreon, we try to keep track of all those sales and sell and share them when they are important. Someone in the Slag chat found a few of the retro Bs a few weeks ago at $5 a pop. My goodness. Well, that's great. That's fantastic. And that's how it should be. It's like, granted, deluxes were never $5, but think about that. Deluxes, when they were first invented, the price point of the deluxe, when it was invented during Beast Wars in 1995, were not $5. They were $10. So think about that. For them to be $5 in 2026, 30 years later, what does that say? That's crazy when you think about it. And there's Shockwave's eye in the background, but that's crazy. Crazy. Take care of yourselves, guys. Like, watch your money. Be smart with that. And that Bumblebee, imagine to get one Bumblebee for $5 when people were killing themselves for that Bumblebee. When that Netflix Bumblebee came out, people were paying $100 a piece for it. And now it's $5 on a retro carded. What a world. What a world. Patience pays off. Look, people were freaking out over the Voyager class, More Than Meets the Eye, Transformers the Movie Celebration Rodimus, the Magenta Rodimus one, the Target exclusive. It sold out quickly. People were angry. People were flipping them online. And now look, everyone's going to Target and finding it in person in solid cases, like full cases of them. Like I said, full case. Voyagers normally come in cases of 3. If they're a store exclusive through a retail partnership, they're probably going to buy multiple cases. There's going to be plenty of him. And everyone I know, they're like, "Oh, I found me a Rodimus," and then or Hot Rod, and then they're showing a picture picking up, and you could see there's like 4 of them behind it. So it's all good. It's all good. Well, Rudy Mac, if you're looking for that Netflix Bumblebee right now, I'm pretty sure that market has softened significantly. So when TFCon Toronto rolls around, definitely prowl the dealer room. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of dealers that are going to be desperate to get rid of it. And then the Hot Rod apparently has some pure QC issues. I hope that that's not the case. I know there's been people reporting it, which is a damn shame. Which, again, that's sad. That's so sad. That it's like, we're paying all this money. What's a Voyager MSRP for Targets? $45? $45 and it has quality control problems? Mamma mia. Mamma mia. Oh, you're looking at it at in your display. Well, there you go. I hope you didn't pay too much for it, Rudy Mac. That's all I'm saying. It's the same thing that the Target exclusive Soundwave. That was kind of like the de facto Soundwave, that Earthrise Target exclusive one. Not Target exclusive, a Walmart exclusive, the Netflix one. People are killing themselves for that. Yeah. People were finding the Naruto Ninetales Transformers collab at Walmart for $2. There is not a Transformer toy in the entire history of the brand of mainline that has had a $2 product. Mini-bots in 1984 were $2.99. That was the lowest price point at that time. Nothing is $2 in 2026. So the desperation, the craziness, and the still profit margins that exist of those amount of units because of how much they get is wild. Is wild. Wake up. Wake up. That's what this podcast has always been about, It's always been about like taking care of yourself and the money. I'm a homeowner. I'm a crazy Transformer collector and a toy collector. But I'm able to pull this off because I put my money in the right places. I really do. You'd be surprised how many things I don't have that's new product. You'd be surprised how much I don't have because I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Look, this guy, I didn't have him. I saw them in shelves multiple times and I went, hey, that's great, but I'm waiting for a sale. Thank you again, Hasbro, for sending me one. You know, even McDonald's toys are $3 USD. Yeah, and the moment McDonald's toys are $3, that's when you really have to go, oh man, it went from free with the kids meal to a separate costing, meaning like you would get the kids meal and then it was a 99 cents that was added as a costing price for the toy separately, to then $1.99 to then $2.99. Again, I can speak of experience of living that and seeing that in real time. So and of course, McDonald's toys back in the 90s were toys that today you would buy in retail, you know? It's kind of crazy where like a 90s McDonald's toy back then is something you would probably pay $5.99 today on a carded figure, you know? Uh this is Oscar's wife. Thank you for today's podcast. Glad for your support and smart spending. Thank you, Oscar's wife. Yeah. Like it's just, again, I can't stress enough like this hobby is easily one of the most expensive hobbies you could have because it never ends. Every guy I've ever talked to, and I'm not just talking Transformer collecting, I'm talking toy collecting. You always think that you're done your display. When I get all the X-Men in Marvel Legends, then I'm done, right? You always think you're done. Oh, when I get all my 1985 GI Joe cast in black in Renegades, I'll be done. If I get all my Return of the Jedi Black Series, then I'll be done. When I get all my mini bots or 84, 85 cast, or I'm just collecting G1 guys, or I just get Beast Wars cast, it never ends. It never ends. There's always something new on the horizon that catches your attention. There's always that, oh, they're bringing back Cowboy Zamu Mesa through Nacelle, or oh, Mattel's bringing back Street Sharks, or oh, there's going to be a new movie that's going to be exciting. There's always something. And the way that the prices have been, the way that the MSRPs have been growing and growing year after year, one excuse after another. First it's inflation, then it's tariffs, now it's this, now it's that. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all trying to bleed as much as they could, squeeze as much juice out of that orange until it's nothing more than a pulpy husk. And at the end of the day, then people go, man, I can't afford anything. But then they have a wall of toys behind them. So be smart with it. If you get a $5 deluxe Bumblebee, that should be your one Transformer purchase for the month. And then you only have to spend $5 on a deluxe. That should be your one Transformer purchase for the month. How many times? Look, you guys, go back. This is a weekly thing, the live stream. I always talk about what did Proto Man get this week? How come I never go like, hey guys, look at the tons of stuff I got? I would be honest with you. If I got like 50 figures, I would show you those 50 figures. But go back every single week, go to the what I got this week part of every live stream, and you're going to see I don't buy as much as you think I do. I really don't. Primarily because I spend where it makes sense and I wait where it doesn't. Because when a TF Con rolls around, all of a sudden all those Voyagers are $20 Canadian a piece. All of a sudden all those deluxes are loose complete in a Ziploc bag at a parts party for $5 a piece. That's when I get them. And trust me, all that money saved, all not having to buy Starbucks like some psychos do, not having to pay for streaming services like some psychos do, all that money saved up in other areas benefit you way more in the long run. Sarah, why they stop package the thing in alt mode and prefer beast mode? So what you're referring to is why they used to. So it used to be back in the day when they would have a product. Do I have something old nearby? Unfortunately, I don't have anything carded nearby. But it used to be, and it started with G1. What was what was shown as the toy? The packaging would always reflect the opposite. Robot mode for car, it would be alt mode for the art. But in G1, you only saw alt mode would be the packaged product, and then the art itself would be the robot mode. So you have both on the front of the packaging. And then we saw when they would show stuff in robot mode, like the Autobot clones, let's say, the art would reflect the alt modes. And they would always do that. You go all the way to Beast Wars, it's the same thing. G2, it's the same thing. Sometimes you'd have both in the art if they want to be silly, but they always tried to reflect one or the other. Unfortunately, today, it's always about featuring the character. Feature the character art. Feature the character art. And they know the back will do the storytelling of the product, you know? So it's different today, but it's a completely different market. Completely different market. And I'm talking Transformers. When it comes to other lines, it's a whole different story, but Transformers, that's always been the way they would do things. And T-Former says those carded GoBots. Well, yeah, GoBots, that's probably maybe why they weren't successful. All GoBots were featured in robot mode. And then but to be fair with GoBots, on the front of their packaging, they would feature the robot mode and they'd feature the alt mode also in art. So they had a different way of conveying the product. They would try to show everything on the front. Sometimes they'd show even the transformation on the front, depending on certain card backs. A lot of times the American card backs or the year 2 card backs, actually I'm going like blah, 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 but here, I'll just show it to you. The wall of GoBot card backs, if you'll see. So like you'll see, so like they'll feature both Fightor and all of them. And now I just screwed up the camera again. But yeah. So it's a little different today now. Completely different different motive, different point of sale, and how they do things. So but it is what it is. Actually, it's kind of funny we were talking about Braun. I have a carded one right here. Good old deals. Good old deals, yo. Good old deals. And then this was when these were on clearance. All on clearance, yo. All on clearance. Be smart with your money, guys. Sarah, but the parents don't know the character. My parents always asked me back in the day if they wanted the monkey velociraptor or red. Well, it's different. It's different because here's the sad truth. Parents today are not the primary purchaser anymore because parents aren't buying kids toys anymore. And it's not that it's a problem that exists, it's that it's not a problem anymore because the problem doesn't exist. Because nowadays, the sad reality is kids buy toys, want toys up until about 5 years old. And then when these digits start working, it's like, oh, I used to play with toys. Oh, I love toys. It's like, I love toys. Oh, toys are so cool. Oh, toys are so, oh. What? 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 That's it. That's life now. That's life. Sometimes I'll take the train to get into Montreal if I don't want to bring the car and park to downtown Montreal. I'll sit on the train. I'll look out the window and enjoy the view. And when I'm on that train, everyone's locked in. They're locked in. They are not looking at anything else. They are just locked in. And they don't care. And we're talking like a 7-year-old child, the parents, just to keep them quiet and sitting down on the train, they are locked in. So it's a sad reality. I'll say this to people: go to TFCon, take a quiet moment when after you're done having your fun, Take a quiet moment in that dealer room, pause, look around you. You ain't going to see no kids. And when you do see kids, that's the body language. They don't care. They're so goop. They're so zoned out. And it's like it kills me that parents, and there's always been bad parents. Don't get me wrong. There was bad parents in the 80s. It existed then too. But now you have parents that are so emotionally checked out that it blows my mind that the DVD player in the car is a thing where you have to teach kids patience. Sit in the car, we're going to get to the destination. I'm reminded when I was a kid, we took a trip from Montreal to Plattsburgh, and it's like a 45-minute drive, with the and that's like the longest the kid, when you're 5 years old, that's the longest drive you'll ever take in your life, as far as you're concerned when you're 5. And there was no DVDs there. I would bring a toy with me to play it with or something. But then that would get boring after a while, you know? Like I remember I had a friend, shout out to my friend Mikey, one of my childhood friends, he used to have Tiger Electronic games that were like stowed away in the back, you know? This is before Game Boy even. It's just, but those things only had so much of a dopamine hit. These things are designed to be a dopamine hit. These things are designed to just like strategically to keep them there forever. And they don't care about toys. These are these are daddy's things. They don't care. They are checked out. And they transition from that to video games, and then they all want to be streamers when they grow up. And already I'm hearing horror stories from teachers in high school, and how they're all using AI to just do their assignments now. It's nuts. It's nuts. T-Formers 2000 Proto Man, I'm going to be at Walmart tomorrow. Want me to grab you a Braun for the show? Yeah, but then I have to carry it after. Could you pick it up for me and give it to me in Toronto? It's just because my suitcase is going to be so, like, because I'm traveling. You know what I mean? Like, Toronto, at least I'm going to be in a car. Like, that's at least easier. Like, pick it up for me, and could you give it to me in July? You know, just because I don't want to have to worry about, like, my suitcase is going to be so packed. You know, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be so, like, everything's going to be crazy. Like, again, the comic boxes, all the stuff and everything. Even if I sell every comic, I still have to bring back my long boxes. I still have to bring back the other stuff. Like, it still takes space. But yeah, if you could bring it to Toronto, that'd be great. Then I could. The sky's the limit with Toronto. That's why the parts parties were something to be able to happen because you have the space. But yeah, I'd love to get a Braun. That'd be awesome. I don't need the Bumblebee because I think Nate from marketing gave me my Bumblebee too. Hasbro guys are, see, that's the thing. I talk bad about Hasbro a lot from like the corporate side and the business side of things, but the guys who work in that company, Nate from marketing, Mark and Evan from the design team, I love John Warden. John was always a good human being to me. Like, those guys who are like much lower on the food chain, they are amazing human beings. They've always been good to me. They've always been respectful. And I have nothing but incredible things to say about those dudes. But the more you get up there and then you get to the suits, they don't care. They don't care about Optimus Rhymes and Megatorn and Sound Tape. They don't care. They just care about what their stock options are before they end up moving to another company and for Microsoft. Mm, yeah, that got on me. Mm. But yeah, Ashton, my son has switches for long car rides. Well, see, that's something where Ashnud, I know it's something that's probably a regular thing, but you be doing your son a favor if you put him in scenarios where he has to learn patience. One thing, like when I was growing up, we didn't go to a lot of fast food growing up because it was expensive, but we would go to a lot of Chinese restaurants growing up because they were much cheaper. Like getting McDonald's would be like $10 for two people, and it's like, a kid's meal and my mom if she got something, or my grandmother when I used to go with my grandmother. But if we went to like a Chinese restaurant, $10 would get you like two rices, a whole chow mein platter and everything. Granted, this is like the 80s and early 90s. So, but because we went to those restaurants, it taught me patience because you go to a Chinese restaurant, it's a sit down restaurant, you order the food, and you have to sit there and keep yourself busy. Oh, look at this dragon statue. Oh, chopsticks. Like there's not much you could do. You go to McDonald's, they give you the toy right away. So you get the toy, you rip it open, you're already playing with that toy that's only going to last you 5 seconds of interest. And then you get your food, you gobble down that poison, and then that's it. And then you play with your toy some more. At no point are you taught patience in a fast food restaurant made for children. So you have to create opportunities where your son's brain is going to learn nothingness, patience, understanding, being one with oneself and nothing more, being one with one's own mind. And you're going to do your son so much a favor that in a world in the future where everyone is going to be brain dead mush, your son is going to have a brain that's not mush, and he'll be the CEO. We used to joke about it. Kids of the '60s, right? If you grew up in the 1960s, everyone was hippies and stoners. They like I don't care any of your parents who are growing up in the '60s. Don't listen to any of the lies they tell you because my parents were honest with me. And it was like they were all hippies and stoners. They all dropped out of high school. And the ones that stayed in high school and went into college, they became CEOs. They became the bosses. And the ones who were hippies and stoners who dropped out, they ended up still bouncing back because of how easy it was back then. But what I'm trying to say is the bar is going to be so low in the future in terms of the sociology of it. Meaning, like, there's going to be so many kids that are going to become adults that are not going to be able to focus, that are not going to be able to sit down and take orders, that are not going to be able to even think, that are going to rely on AI to do their work and stuff. You create someone who lives independently outside of that system, that guy's going to be a monster of a human being. So do your son that favor. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. It does all the, and I'm with you with that, Fair Lady Z. Um, I never was someone to really look at my phone or stuff when I was a kid because I would get car sick. I would get. Today, I don't think it happens anymore. I'm never in a situation where I'm looking at my phone while driving, so I don't know. And like whenever I look at my phone when I'm traveling, and like let's say Larry's driving, who's in the chat today, and like we're going to TFCon, I don't stare at my phone long enough because again, and I've showed you guys before, I don't put social media on my phone. So it's like, eh, so it's like it's something where, you know, everything that's installed has been recent. Look, Bell, because of my recent problems with my internet, this and this, all recent. But my actual stuff, nothing. Because now I'm going to a con, so I'm going to need to have X on my phone to be able to communicate with people and stuff. But then I delete it afterwards because I don't need it. All those were recent downloads. I don't put social media on my phone. I don't need the distractions. I enjoy the moment that's happening right now in front of me. People wonder, wow, why is Protoman so good at talking to people and everything? Because I make it part of my life that I spend time talking with people. Or I could go to a convention and just stare at my phone the whole time and not. It's very easy to say, don't talk to me if I just do this, you know? But if I'm not holding it, you know? Such is life. Such is life, my friends. And I wish only the best for everybody, you know? I wish only the best for everyone. I want people to You know, I'm a very lucky person in life in that because of how stubborn I was, because of my good upbringing, of following your dream and being smart about it. It's one thing to have a dream. It's also like, being smart about it, figuring out how to achieve that dream. I've been able to do childhood dreams, and I've said this before on the podcast. Not only make your 65-year-old self proud, make your 6-year-old self proud, you know? And it's something where I only wish that for everyone else too. But you got to be smart with things. Put yourself in those situations. Don't sell yourself short. Don't obsess over this thing. This thing's a tool. That's all it is. It should never be life, you know? I'm talking to one of my friends who's a chiropractor, and he's like, dude, so many people have bad backs now because they're all and the domino effect of this. Like, think about it. No one looks at their phone like this. Everyone looks at their phone like this. And he's saying like everyone now has like arched backs now because everyone stares at their phones, or when they're in bed, they're staring at their phones and they're arching their backs. My friend who's a chiropractor, he's making money. Hey, you want to quit school, become a chiropractor. There's a future right there of money or back people. Goodness. So like, do yourself some good. Tucker, I work in sales to help keep my brain and social muscles properly active. Well, that's good, man. That's good. I think working retail or working with people is always something good to do at least once in your life. I firmly believe like if I wouldn't have worked at Burger King, there would be a huge skill set that's missing because I didn't work in the kitchen. I worked in the front and I dealt with customers. And you're talking high stress environment. People want their food. There's mistakes. You got to fix problems. It sounds simple. Oh, you're working fast food. But when you're dealing with hundreds of people a day, it's a skill set that could be applied to life later on. High stress problem solving. Very important skill to have. And that's why there's a lot of people who would work at Burger King who wouldn't last very long. Sarah says, I have a question for who is Kranix made for? Even the G1 fans I know say the guy is Beast Wars character because they hate the movie and child. Kranix is made for who's still left that collects Transformer toys, which are hardcore fans. That's it. And again, it's coming out it's a 40th anniversary 86 movie celebration item. If you don't know Kranix, but then you say something like Liege Maximo existing is fine, more people know who has seen Kranix. How many people own issue number 12 of the G2 comic book when that book was dying? So there's more people that know Kranix than they know a lot of the other stuff that's on the shelves, to be real. But the reality is all of that is just made for hardcore fans anyways. It's all made for hardcore fans. Again, there's more people that rented the 86 movie back in the day. There's more people that saw the 86 movie than people who know issue number 12 of Simon Furman's Liege Maximo. That how many people even know who Solus Prime is or any of those others? It's he belongs just as much as a product as anybody else, if not more, in my opinion. And it's not just my bias of my love of the 86 movie. It's just a rational opinion of market against purchaser, you know? And who knows what this is and would they be interested in purchasing it? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And that's it more or less tonight for the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, McTanky, for the YouTube memberships to a whole bunch of people. That's much appreciated for that too. That was really cool of you. Just a lot of great stuff. And we'll say, Tom Laney, thanks again for another great one. Thank you, Tom. Again, I just want to always make sure that people take care of themselves and do well in this hobby. And don't listen to social media. There's a lot of negativity that kicks around. There's a lot of stupid stuff out there. There's a lot of just I have friends that I call friends that sometimes I'm just disappointed in the way that they carry themselves in life. And it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to bring you joy. And stress is the number one cause of shortening your life and all those other things and cancer and everything. Proto, what's for dinner? Me and the wife went by the Jamaican Patty place near my old high school, and we got ourselves some Jamaican patties. Shout out to the Curry House on Côte de Neige, who had been there for, geez, 47 years, long before I was born. We got a whole bunch of beef Jamaican patties because we were having a craving for them. They're not the most healthiest thing, but we haven't had them in, geez, probably a year now. So we went and got some Jamaican patties. It was really good. Uh, and then we swung by her mother and my mother-in-law, her mother, and her mother-in-law made some chow mein. So we also picked that up too, just to kind of have on the side. And what else did we get? We didn't get much else because we did our groceries, but we didn't get nothing. The problem is because I'm not going to be here, like because I'm going to be gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we didn't buy too much groceries because I'm going to be gone. So we didn't get much. We got this and that. We got some, I bought some stuff for the road, unhealthy jerky stuff for the road pretty much because I'm going to be 8 hours of flying, doing connections, all that craziness. I love Jamaican patties, but I have a nostalgia for it because of my high school. I went to an all black high school, so Jamaican patties, getting them for like 99 cents were, mm-mm-mm. You get beef, you get chicken, you get vegetarian. The vegetarian one was good too because it have it have kale and broccoli in it, and then a little bit of cheese. They were so good. They're not vegan; they were veggie. They were still good though. What else did I get? I know I got other stuff too. Oh, and we got some cheapy steaks and stuff that we're probably going to have tomorrow. But that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so hope you all have a great time. Thank you for all the love and support. Again, TFCon exclusive coming at you. So if you are a patron who is going to be at TFCon, please contact me through Patreon. I will send you a code so that way you could bring me that code on your phone, and then that way I could get you a free exclusive. If you're not coming to TFCon, but you'll be at Toronto or you'll be somewhere in the future, we'll try to work something out. Just right now, I need to just focus on LA, and then we'll figure that out afterwards. We're gonna only have 50 at LA. We'll have more for Toronto. We'll figure something out, and then by Orlando, we'll have another figure and other stuff. And again, reminder for those who didn't get in LA, because this wasn't available in LA. We only had red and blue. Yellow will be in super limited stock, only 15. Grab them while you can. And then afterwards, this is retired. You get 2 trading cards, and then that's retired, and then that's done. And that is that. Thank you for all the love and support, guys. Once again, if you want to help support the podcast even more, hit that Patreon link. Come down there. Come join us on the Patreon and hang out in the Discord chat. Exclusives, talk about stuff, break the news. Our Discord is awesome. We keep it tight and we keep it good with all our boys and girls. But otherwise, thanks again for all the love and support. Hit that join button if you want to do the Patreon, the YouTube member with all the beautiful green names. Look how many green names today, except for Ninjatron, who somehow avoided it yet again, ninja style. But thanks again. And again, for buying the comics and everything. I'm out of here. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. Enjoy your Saturday night. Enjoy the people around you. And enjoy this beautiful world with so much cool stuff in it. I'm out of here. And as always, roll out.